This project presents 8 brief historical studies of little-known aspects of California cultural and social history.
Hi, my name is Alex Towie, and my project is called History of Freemasonry in California and San Diego. The reason I decided to choose this topic is because I am myself a Freemason and a lover of history, so the two areas kind of merged into a topic quite nicely. Freemasonry's history in general is a fascinating subject, and I personally wanted to know more about the beginnings of Freemasonry in California, with a case study look at San Diego in particular. Overall, the project was rewarding in several ways. I was not only able to understand the history of Freemasonry in California more clearly, but I was also able to comprehend the profound impact Freemasonry had on California in general, as well as in San Diego.
Hello, my name is Lawrence McLingberg, and I will be taking a look at the history of prostitution in California. Having spent a year in Germany, I have seen cultures that have embraced prostitution, and upon my return to the United States, developed a fascination with our standards of sexuality. Thus, I have decided to delve into a historical examination of the legislation against prostitution throughout the history of California. I begin at the Gold Rush and take up my studies for the modern day, looking at a group named Coyote, founded by Margot St. James, that focuses on changing legislative and societal attitudes towards prostitution.
This is Oscar Canelo, and my presentation is entitled Orientalism and Oranges, an examination of the artwork of orange box labels from the 1880s to the post-World War II era. My presentation looks at how California integrated into the national economy after the Civil War years, and how the citrus growers used Orientalist imagery in their artwork to not only promote products, but to also perpetuate the idea of California as a new Garden of Eden.
The beginning of the 1920s saw the growth of radio stations, and newspapers became interested in this new medium. With this new method of transmission, newspapers gained a much larger audience that could reach different cities and states. I will be showing you how newspaper-controlled radio stations in Los Angeles and San Diego promoted the new medium of radio and attempted to create a unique presence for their stations in a very crowded landscape.
I'm Blanca Drapel. My project explores the history of postcards, American tourism in Southern California. As a San Diego native, I recognize tourism as paramount to our local economy. This project has helped me understand how tourism has developed, how San Diego was marketed to potential visitors, and some of the consequences of a tourist-based economy.
Using the Paul Ecke Ranch archive housed here at CSUSM, our project explores the history of the poinsettia and the efforts of the Ecke family of Encinitas, California, to transform the plant into the popular Christmas flower.
In our project, you can also discover the effect of World War II on the flower-growing industry, the legacy of the Eckes, and the impact of the poinsettia industry on California's economy.
My name is Camellia Taylor, and my project is Redlining, the imaginary line that divides us. My project examines the brief history of redlining in California during the 20th century. My objective is to raise awareness of how housing discrimination has functioned in California and its impact today with issues such as gentrification. More important, my goal is to raise awareness in regards to certain institutions that perpetuate racial and economic disenfranchisement.
My name is Stephanie Williams. My project is about the history of the Oceanside Harbor. Originally, I knew I wanted to research something local and environmental. I had a few ideas, and I made an appointment with Judith Downey in the library. Judith posed the idea of studying the history of the Oceanside Harbor, as this is local and environmental, involving human impact on the environment and ultimately impacting the city for generations to come. Along my research, I uncovered the story of one person, Erwin Scalar, who was instrumental in the implementation of the Oceanside Harbor. I hope you enjoy this presentation.
We hope you enjoy these projects. We want to take a few minutes now to show you how we made them. Historical methods begin with questions. Everyone asks questions related to their project. Next, we find historical sources.
Primary sources are documents that were created during the period under study and that are relevant to the questions we hope to answer. Primary sources are stored in libraries, museums, archives, and sometimes private collections.
Digital history is an emerging field of study that is guided by traditional methods of research and analysis. It employs digital tools to enhance historians' analysis and to present historical findings in new ways. Web-based presentation platforms allow historians to share their scholarship with public audiences. Making historical scholarship accessible and relevant to public audiences is one of the first founding principles of digital history.